Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This is the third day of the trial involving our young brother Shifa. It's my first day attending. I was impressed for the most part by Shifa's self-representation. You know, there's an old saying within legal circles that a client who represents himself as a fool for a client, or a defendant that represents himself as a fool for a client. But that adage certainly did not apply to what I witnessed today in the courtroom. I thought he did very well.
What exactly?
I thought he did very well, all things considered. I was probably most impressed by his line of questioning around the issue of jihad, really fleshing out, you know, the expansive meaning of jihad beyond what we normally hear in courtrooms around the land. The way that this hot button word is used by prosecutors in case after case. I was impressed with his overall approach, and I'm hopeful. I'm guardedly optimistic that the jury at the end of the day will be able to see the human face of Shifa, not this monster, this potential terrorist that he has been painted out to be for the past 3 years that he has been in detention. I'm hoping that they'll be able to see the human side of this young man, that he is a human being, that at worst what he and his co-defendants did were romanticized jihad in reaction to you know, the brutal occupation and barbarity that's being committed against Muslim peoples in different parts of the world, and you know, that at the end of the day he was practicing his First Amendment rights to just having an opinion that some of us may feel to be distasteful, depending upon our worldview or our sense of patriotism or what have you. But at the end of the day, he was just expressing in his thoughts and his ideas and his discussions in the debates that he and others engaged in, just his First Amendment right to having an opinion. This is part and parcel of being an American. And I think it's just outrageous that when he was first brought to the United States after being detained, and he was being held in New York, that he was facing a charge of 5 years for allegedly lying to federal authorities. He was facing a charge of 5 years. But by the time he was transferred to Georgia under a superseding indictment, he now faces a charge of 60 years, or a potential sentence of 60 years. I think that is outrageous, and it is something that any of us who consider ourselves to be fair and fair-minded and just, or justly inclined, we should also be concerned about it. I think it's an outrage.
Okay, and your name and what organization do you represent?
My name is Mauri Salah Khan. I serve as Director of Operations for the Peace and Justice Foundation, which is a Muslim-led human rights organization, grassroots, a small organization based in metropolitan Washington, D.C.
So you came out here from Washington, D.C.?
I came here to Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, I drove here from Albany, New York. I was in Albany. I drove to Albany, New York from Washington for a very important human rights-related initiative that took place on Tuesday. And on Wednesday morning, I drove from Albany, New York to Atlanta, Georgia for this case, both to demonstrate my support for this young man, who I consider to be an innocent young man who is being politically prosecuted in a very corrosive post-9/11 environment, and to do what I can to help mobilize support for him. I'm hoping that before this trial ends within the next few days, that we will see many other members of the Muslim community and non-Muslims who are concerned about these issues in the courtroom as well. One of the things I notice about the courtroom is that while it's a large courtroom, the size or the amount of space allotted to persons coming in from the outside to view the proceedings is not that large.
Yeah.
So, you know, we should have that space filled up.
Okay, and we appreciate your support. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.